So, show of hands, who here is very, very happy as we approach 100 days? 3 people very, very happy with how President Trump is doing. Who here now has maybe some reservations? Who here regrets their vote for Mr. Trump? Eileen, you didn't raise your hand for any of these.
I didn't raise my hand because I didn't think any of those answers reflected how I feel.
How are you feeling?
I feel that I'm basically happy, and I'm taking a wait-and-see attitude because it is only 100 days.
Okay. Scott, you regret your vote. What do you regret?
I'm disappointed. I don't know how else to put it. You know, if he's got enough time to get on Twitter and rant and rave, and then on top of that lie on Twitter, I voted for the man to make America great again, and I'm willing to give him a chance, but it's just not, he's not doing what I thought, that he made promises on his rallies that I went to. I just think he's...
Such as? I mean, what do you feel is a broken promise?
Healthcare.
What did you expect with healthcare?
I expected him to work a little harder, a little more reasonable, instead of threatening people, Congress people. That's unpresidential. I voted to send him to Washington strictly because I thought he would make change. Nobody would push him around. You know, he's used his power against people. I think that's wrong. It's been a disaster, I think, in the first 100 days. And if I were to vote again tomorrow, I would not vote for him.
Craig, how do you feel?
Well, what's gotten my attention is on January 15th in Urbandale, Iowa, the candidate Donald Trump promised me that he was going to make more available detox centers and rehabilitation programs for heroin-addicted people.
Because you lost a son.
I lost a son 3 years ago. He died January 6, 2014. His name was Rob J.R. Moss.
Of a heroin overdose.
Of a heroin overdose.
And the president, then candidate Trump, promised you personally that he was going to do something.
He sure did. There was a question and answer period at one of his rallies because I asked him if he becomes president, what he'll do to combat the ongoing heroin epidemic we have in this country.
What did he say he would do?
Well, he said he was going to help get these kids off. He said it's a strong drug. And he said it's hard to get off of it. He's going to create or make detox centers, rehabilitation programs more available, more accessible to these kids and young adults to help them get off this drug.
Did you think that was all going to happen in the first 100 days?
Well, I didn't know when it was going to happen, but the fact of the matter is he tried to push through a health care plan that did absolutely the opposite of what he campaigned on. He told us that he was going to create a health care plan that was going to be lower deductibles, lower overall costs, and increase coverages. The fact of the matter is it was going to cut services. It was going to eliminate Medicaid. It was going to eliminate $5 billion worth of services to opioid substance abuse people. The hardest thing for me to take was that he said, okay, we're going to go on to tax reform. We're going to put health care off to the side, and we're going to go ahead and wait till Obamacare explodes, and then we'll see how they like this bill. And that, to me, did not sound like the words of a man that had the best interests of the American people at hand.
So, Susan, a diehard supporter of President Trump, I mean, you're quite happy with what he's done so far. So what do you think when you hear, you know, your fellow Republicans who have, you know, some regret?
I think he tried. It's a very ugly thing seeing the sausage made when you're dealing with legislation. It really is horrendous, and I don't think he had probably as much of an idea as we had hoped.
I mean, he did campaign as a deal maker. I mean, he did campaign as the ultimate deal maker. And Paula, he did say that he was going to be able to bring warring factions together. So how do you explain what happened with the health care bill?
I blame a lot on Paul Ryan. I call him Ryan O'Ryan. And I said, I think they pulled the wool over President Trump's eyes. He is not a politician. And I can reiterate what Susan's saying, where I was in the House and I sat at local levels. Although you want everything to come out just exactly perfect the way you want it, you sometimes have to compromise to get it done.
The Senate is currently Republican majority and the House is Republican majority. So if you can't get a bill passed, why are you nodding, Scott?
Because it's the reason I'm nodding is because he's not willing to sit down at the table and negotiate. It's his way or the highway.
I disagree with that. I will tell you why.
Then why did it get pulled off the table?
Okay, hold on.
He walked into the lion's den. This is what you call the swamp when you're dealing with the House and the Senate. They are their own little clique, their own little fraction, and now you've got an outsider coming in who's not one of the swampy people, And he's coming in a fresh person. And you know what? It's an unfortunate thing that we've allowed Congress to get this far to the swampy level that we cannot get up and make them represent us. I see you shaking your head. Tell me the last time Congress represented you and done something that was right for you. They would never have given you Obamacare if they represented you properly.
Right.
Go ahead, Scott.
You know, it's not true. It's not true. The bottom line is, you know, as she said, he has both houses. He gets on Twitter, he rants and raves, and he says constantly, get on board or lose your seat. Plain and simple, he threatens people. It's wrong.
It's not wrong. Maybe it's about time people did lose their seats.
You're wrong. I'm telling you, you're wrong.
Go ahead, Alex.
I'm not going to put the blame on Speaker Ryan or on Trump. I think it's because of a lack of bipartisan work. And I think there's gridlock within Congress.
Yes, but I mean, on the larger issue of did you expect President Trump, the ultimate deal maker, as he billed himself, to be able to make more headway with these things?
Not necessarily within the first 100 days. I did not. So, yes, I expected him working with the executive branch to get a lot of things done, as he's been doing with his executive orders and things like that, which are wonderful.
He grabbed on the health care bill and tried to sell it to the American people, well knowing it didn't represent what he campaigned on.
That's correct.
But that's because he was expecting.
It doesn't matter if it was given to him and so he could. It doesn't matter if it was made up by Ryan. I guess Ryan put the thing together. He
Right.
should have known what was in it. Take the time and know what it is you're trying to give to the American people, rather than just take it and say, okay, we're going to do. Regardless of whether he knew or didn't know, shame on him.
And I agree. But remember, he's a man. He's a human being. He makes
And he
mistakes.
represents the people of the United States.
Hold on. Go ahead, Scott.
As soon as he entered the microphone or when he campaigned, the first thing he said was, I'm going to repeal and replace Obamacare. Well, that don't include the first week it gets lifted off the table. You get on a plane and go down to Florida to play golf at Mar-a-Lago. You go back to the table, you work on it, you don't play golf, you work for the American people. It's ridiculous.